In 2022, I got a number of phone calls from potential clients who are interested in syndication and putting a fund together. 2023, I had a lot less of this one type of client, but I still had some, and probably will have some in 2024 as well. Now, what is this type of client? It's the person who's looking to put together a crypto offering. So in this video, we're going to talk about the big challenge with crypto and why most of the time I actually can't help them. So what is the big problem with crypto and Regulation D? Well, the Regulation D is an exemption to the SEC rules which allow somebody to raise an unlimited amount of money from an unlimited amount of accredited investors and possibly up to 35 non-accredited investors in any 90-day period, depending on the rule that you fall into. But why is a crypto offering itself, why is a coin itself different? Well, the biggest problem is that it's round peg and square hole. In the round peg category, we've got the SEC rules. The SEC rules, the exemptions to a security filing, are basically where the SEC has said, look, we want people to be able to invest into these things. It's good for America, it's good for our economy. We want that private investment world to be robust and there, but we need to put some protections in place. What we don't want, and this is the SEC talking, what we don't want is for there to be a private marketplace that exists that we are not able to regulate. So that's their problem, is that they don't want this secondary private market that exists. Now, to do that, what the SEC has said is put a restriction on resale. So essentially, I cannot buy a private security. So I cannot, with the intent of basically turning it around and selling it just because of the appreciation of the security itself. So if you think about like when you buy a share of Apple stock, really, I mean, theoretically, you're buying a share of the income of the stock itself. But why am I actually buying it? Because I am thinking that the price of the value itself of that share of security is going to go up. Not that it's tied to income or anything like that. I really care at the end of the day, if I'm not getting dividends from something, I'm expecting that share value to appreciate. Now, that can't exist without having a marketplace, right? Without the market. So the marketplace, obviously, for Apple is the stock exchange. It exists on the stock exchange, it's registered. These shares are traded publicly. They're there. That's kind of generic. There's no interaction between me and Tim Cook. I don't call Tim on the phone and say, "Hey, buddy, what do you think's going to happen with your company in the next week?" It just doesn't happen, right? So that whole world of is based on this appreciated value of why an investor actually invests into a security that's public, so like a stock. Now, if I were to do that for a private security, there's no mechanism there for me to actually have that banking on the appreciated value of the security itself. Only that I only am choosing to invest based on my guess of the appreciated value of the underlying asset. Right, so real estate's an easy example. If there's a syndication that's been put out for an apartment building, my guess as an investor is rent growth is going to drive up. The more rents, the cap rates, even if they stay the same, the appreciated value of the underlying asset of the apartment building itself is going to go up. That's how I'm going to profit from it. So there's no secondary market, there's no me investing in the security for the element of the security itself. That's the round peg of this. When we talk about the square hole of crypto, that's entirely different. What's being invested into is only the appreciated value, right? There's no actual day-to-day mechanism. Like there's no profits in that element in Bitcoin itself that's actually creating value, right? It's just a marker of something that people have decided has some value, but it's that decision about that value that's appreciating or depreciating. So the only way that market really exists is because it's got an exterior market, right? It's got that market where it's being traded on exchanges and people are making money or losing money based on their investment into that Bitcoin or that whatever that coin is itself. So that's the change that's taking place. So the problem with with not being able to resell the security is that if I'm not able to resell the security, well, by its very nature, a coin is supposed to be decentralized and basically be fungible, right? So I can trade these things without having any sort of thing. I can give it to my brother-in-law, I can sell it to somebody across the country, I can sell it to somebody across the world. That's what the whole point of the coin was, is that it would rise and fall based on some other external thing, whatever that value is, and then I can freely trade it. But the SEC has said the exemptions of the rules are strictly for are not able to resell it for those purposes. I'm not able to make an investment for that. And so if I have a client in front of me who wants to put a coin together, it is possible that we could invest in the company that's behind the coin. It's possible to put that through, but it can't be, the profits from it can't be based on the appreciation or the depreciation of the crypto coin itself. It's an exterior thing that rises and falls in that sort of secondary market, which is completely adverse to what the security regulations, the exemptions to the registration requirement are. Now, I know that's kind of technical and it's kind of advanced, but hopefully that makes some sense. It just doesn't work. They're just round peg, square hole. The two are not going to see eye to eye. So that's the conversation that I have with people who come to me with strictly coin offerings. If they have a business like a mining operation or something that is different, right? So where the underlying thing, what's going to generate that income is not based on an exterior market thing, and being not resellable is okay. We find a mechanism in order to do that, then it works fine. If I can help you with your securities offering, with your Regulation D offering, I'd be happy to help. Give me a call. My name is Tilda Moschetti, Moschetti Syndication Law Group.